moved to the UK! So I recently married my long-term partner who's British, and I've just joined him in the UK to live here permanently. So I thought I would share a bit about my experience so far. I know I usually bring you all creative tutorials, but this has been a massive shift for me in my life and my work. And in the spirit of learning, I thought I would just share with you 5 things that I wish I knew before I moved here. Number 1, everything has to be done in a certain order. So you'll find that you need to do A, but you need B first before you do A, but you really need to do C before you do A. And it would be helpful if you had B if you did C. So it's a catch-22. It's very frustrating most of the time. One thing you'll find when you start trying to do things like open a bank account or get a local doctor is that you need a proof of address. And when you come over here on a visa, you will likely get a residence permit, but that just proves that you're allowed to live here. It doesn't prove that you are living here or where you're living. So the proof of address could be your name on a tenancy agreement or a utility bill. But another way to get it is to get the government to send you a letter at your new address, because that's very definitive proof that you live there. And a way to do that is to apply for a national insurance number. So a national insurance number is something you need to pay taxes and to be employed. So you might as well apply for it right away. And you apply online, but it comes to you in the mail. So that is a great way to get proof of address. And that's just my tip for that. The second thing I learned is that your US bank might make it hard to move your money over. This was the most excruciatingly frustrating experience for me trying to get my money, it was mine, from the US to the UK. And before I left, I talked to my US bank and I said, here's the situation, I'm moving to England. What do I need to, how can I prepare? Or what will the experience be getting my money over once I'm there? And I was told, oh, just go to your new UK bank, have them contact us to request your money be moved. I was like, oh, that sounds easy. Okay, that's fine. No, once I got here, I was told repeatedly from my US bank that they do not do bank-to-bank transfers or money wires online. It's impossible by their rules. And basically there was absolutely nothing they could do for me. I felt like my money was in a prison in the US and I could not access it. So after some tears and some breakdowns, I went online and I was like, how do US expats move their money over? And I found out that apparently going through the banks is the worst way to do it in terms of they charge the highest fees. The exchange rate that they set is not great. It's usually the worst for you. And it also takes the longest. So what I recommend from this horrible experience is to use a peer-to-peer foreign currency exchange service, a third-party service, to move your money over. One such company that I recommend for this is Wise. Once you connect your UK bank account and your US bank account, it's really easy to send money over. It usually takes seconds. It was so much more stress-free, hassle-free than trying to deal with my banks. They're really transparent about their fees, and so there's no surprise like, oh, I thought I was getting this amount. No, now I'm getting much less. They're very clear about what their fees are, which are usually very low, what the exchange rate is that they guarantee, and what you'll actually see in your bank account. And it's so much more stress-free than trying to deal with the bank. And I am so grateful to them for existing as a company. There are other third-party companies like this, but if you want to learn more about Wise, I put a link to them in the description so you can learn more. The third thing I wish I knew when I came here is that many places don't take cash. And this is something that I was peripherally aware of from my other visits on a tourist visa. But I was like, oh, it will take a while to set up my UK bank account. So I'll buy some British pounds before I move, and then I'll have this cash to use for the interim period. But there were some places I went to that didn't take cash, and I had to turn to my husband and say, hey, can you pay for this? Which it's not a good feeling. It makes you feel like you're not independent and you're reliant on someone. And I had my US bank cards and credit cards, but they charge foreign transaction fees. So if you can get a credit card, or if you are lucky enough to have a great bank that doesn't charge foreign transaction fees on your purchases abroad, try to get that before you move. And then your experience will be seamless. You won't be losing money all the time from them taking 3% off or whatever it is. Because you will run into places that don't take cash. They're really into touchless payments here. So that's just something to keep in mind. The fourth thing that I wish I had done when I moved here is to not try to do everything at once. I unnecessarily overwhelmed myself by trying to do all the admin things that I needed to do, and my first couple of weeks were very stressful. And it was just stress that I was putting on myself. If I could do it again, I would have been like, okay, I'm just gonna spend this day to open a new bank account, or I'm gonna spend this day just registering for the local surgery to get a new doctor. There's no time limit on it. Not, like, strictly speaking, it's pressure that you can put on yourself. It's pressure that I put on myself, and I could see other people doing it. So my advice is to take it literally one step at a time, cross one thing off your list each day, and just be kind to yourself and don't try to do everything at once. And then the fifth thing that I wish I knew, the fifth piece of advice that I could give you, is to get to know your neighborhood right away. And this is the funnest thing on my list, and I wish I had started it sooner, is to explore your neighborhood, your village, your town, the little corner of the city that you live in. Get to know the shops, and most importantly, find out your favorites. Find out your favorite grocery store, find your favorite hangout, your bar, your favorite route downtown, because that is the thing that will really make you feel like a local, like you belong. When I got here, for the first couple of weeks, I felt like an alien. I felt like everyone was looking at me. They knew I didn't belong. They were judging me, which is all ridiculous. But it wasn't until I started finding my favorites, finding my favorite route into town, finding my favorite shop, finding my favorite bar. That's when I really felt like I belonged, and I was really excited to live here and be a part of the community. So that's the most important thing I think on this list, is to get to know your neighborhood, and you'll start feeling like you belong right away. So that's my list of things that I wish I knew when I moved here, and things that maybe you should keep in mind before you move. I am not qualified to give advice on visas, immigration, finances, anything like that. This is just my own personal experience and what I found. So please don't ask me specific questions about your situation. But if you do have advice for other people who are expats, or if you yourself recently moved to the UK and you have some advice for people, please share it in the comments, because I think everyone could benefit, myself included. Also, I'm going to get back into creative tutorials. Don't worry, this is not going to become a thing. It's not going to become a travel blog. But I do need to set myself up. So one video I'm going to be doing is setting up my sewing nook in a closet. I'm going to be turning a closet into a sewing nook, so that's going to be interesting. Stay tuned for that, and wish me luck on this adventure. It's going to be interesting, it's exciting, it's scary, it's all the things. So until next time, keep in touch and happy traveling.